Hi, I'm Dr. Ian Johnston, and we're continuing our series on playing in the sandbox with Cerner. In our last couple of videos, we've talked about order sets. These are convenient ways to enter large numbers of orders in a very efficient fashion. There are times, of course, when we don't want to enter a lot of orders, but just want to order one or two things. So we need to know how to work with individual orders as well. Going through this process is the purpose of this video. So here we are back at the patient chart. We can see that we have our 5-year-old once again, and he's already been admitted. We have a few orders here just for some Tylenol and some vitamins. We have a weight as well as a bit of blood work. We have decided we'd like to start some antibiotics in this child, so we would like to order some ceftriaxone. So there are a number of ways to go about this. Very frequently we'll be able to go to our quick orders, and quite likely, if we look under antibiotics, we'll find ceftriaxone, and we find that there are a couple of options here. Now, in the quick orders, we have complete order sentences, and we see here we have ceftriaxone 50 milligrams per kilogram every 8 hours, which is a common dose. Perhaps, however, this isn't what we have in mind. Perhaps we want to treat for meningitis or something that requires a different dosing than that. We have several options, but a good one would be to go and search specifically for ceftriaxone. So we will do that. We'll enter a few letters, and here we go. Now we have built just a blank ceftriaxone. If we press that, it won't specify any dose or duration. It will be up to us to enter these things. We have a few common doses that appear down below. We can order it 50 milligrams per kilogram or 100 milligrams per kilogram if we're thinking about children. If we dose on a milligram per kilogram basis, the program will calculate the dose for us. If we're dealing with adults, we have standard doses. But just so we get a feel for how to work through a complete order, let's just choose the blank one. So we'll choose blank ceftriaxone. And it will give us, again, those same orders as a starting point. But we have to remember that we are not tied to these. So I'll just choose one. I'll choose the first one. We click OK. And then, of course, we go to our little to-do box at the top, and we click on this. And we will want to modify details here. We see our little blue X saying that there are details to be filled in, and let's get down to it. Now, just a little pointer for reasons which baffle me. Cerner likes to give you these little boxes that you might want to try to scroll through. It's quite frustrating. You can enlarge them, and I certainly suggest that you do, so that you can see what you are working on. So, ceftriaxone, anything in yellow is a required detail. So our antibiotic stewardship people want us to enter something, so I'm going to call this bacteremia, just for interest's sake. The dose, I clicked on 50 milligrams per kilogram. We know that this child weighs 12 kilograms, but if I don't like that dose, I can simply erase it and put in whatever I want. it has a duration set for me. Very often I don't set empiric therapy for that long, so I can modify any of these. It's a very simple matter, and we do have complete control over what we enter. We then can sign, wait for a minute, and there we have it. This is complete. Now let's, instead of doing an antibiotic, let's do an investigation. Let's say we want to order a CBC, so we will search that, and CBC diff, there it is. We'll click on this. We'll go up to our to-do box. And again, we have a number of details which we can choose. So we'll click Modify Details. And once again, we have hidden down here the details that we would like. So let's give ourselves a bit of room and move forward. So choices, collection priority. Is this a stats sample? Is this something that we're going to do later on? Is this a routine? We have a number of options. A time study, we can specify the time that we want to have it done, but very frequently it'll be either in the morning or a routine. So I'll say it's a morning draw. Now, people are confused by collection times, and rightly so. It's completely confusing. When we order a blood test for the next day, today when I'm making this note, it's October the 13th. So it sets the collection date as the 14th, and it sets the collection time at 0400. That does not mean that the lab is going to come and disturb your patient at 0400. That just is the default setting for labs that are drawn first thing in the morning. We can also do this more than once. We can do it daily or weekly or monthly, whichever you prefer. So once again, in the order comments box, you have a complete control over how the blood is drawn, and in fact you can even order it for a future visit if that is something that is appropriate. The key to remember with any order is that by using the order detail box and by modifying your orders, you can customize them just about any way that you want.